Then there was banking. The next vista is power and infrastructure. And I would advise everyone to ensure that you build capacity in this area.
Thank you very much. Prof, you can take the last question.
Yes, to the gentleman who asked about securing the minerals and preventing people from stealing it. I would just like to make an analogy. You see, in life, let's say you have like 100 birds on a wire and you want to catch one or all. The thing is, it's going to be almost impossible. Let's say you use your catapult, you hit one. If you're lucky, the catapult hits two. The others are going to fly away. Now, in Nigeria is a country, like Mr. Tafi said, almost 1 million square kilometers. It's actually about 923,000. It's massive. Now, all over the country, it says Nigeria is rich in natural resources. We are rich in minerals. There is no state out of the 36 and the FCT that you can find one mineral or the other there. So if we are going to make sure that we formalize the way income is generated from these minerals, the federal government has to be innovative in its thinking. So now, they are encouraging people to set up mining cooperatives, small scale and artisanal miners to formalize themselves. But a lot of people think of it like, why should I come and I'll pay you some taxes, pay you royalties, pay you this? And that's why I am saying that, because of course, we down south, the people in Niger Delta, they'll say, why should states and local government and host communities get this huge percentage when you've been taking our oil for the past 60, going on 70 years, and you've not been giving us the same courtesy? We're just getting 13% derivative according to the Constitution. But the thing is, I think everything needs to be revisited. With regards to mining, I think it's integral that the federal government recognizes that it cannot secure every square kilometer in Nigeria. And in order to harness some substantial income, it's better, like I said, to buy in the host communities, the local government, the state government, so that some burden is taken off the shoulders of the federal government. Now they've instituted some mining marshals, thefts of critical minerals, normal minerals like valuable minerals like gold and even any other type of mineral is ongoing every day. Every day in Nigeria, people are making money, and these people are the ones arming people. Insurgency is increasing on the back of this mineral theft, on the back of it, insecurity and all. So if you're going to do that, the federal government has to be strategic, has to give over a lot of its rights and its income to maximize what it's going to get back. Because the truth of the matter is, if communities are rich, if they're not impoverished, the burden on the federal government is less. It goes down. States too will enjoy some prosperity. Nobody will keep looking to Abuja for allocation. You are generating your own income. Your people are rich. Everybody is rich. Everybody can afford to secure themselves, even if it's to rent, because now you see the criminals go around with AK-47, sophisticated guns. Everybody will be able to afford it. So everybody will calm down, as I always say, in the end. So the best way to stop this is to ensure that there is a buy-in of the stakeholders who are the ones there. They are the ones suffering. They are losing their agricultural land. Their waters are being polluted. When it comes to landslide as a result of using explosive and all, they are the ones at the front line. So we have to ensure that we're not selfish. We don't keep all this 100% or whatever for the federal government saying, no, only this percent will go to this. If you actively make them co-owners, then things can change. And with that, I think you can even free up the oil in the Niger Delta and do the same for them as well, so that everybody is prosperous and well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you. Like we have said, in view of the time constraint, and so there will be no time to give the panelists the usual 1 minute to say their final thought on the topic of discussion, and no time for the moderator also to round up. So I'll call on the session coordinator to close the session formally.
Thank you very much to our wonderful speakers. It's been a really insightful session. I know that I have personally learned a lot. So it's time to hand the plaques to our speakers and moderator.
Thank you very much. Please, we'll just be asking for just 10 more minutes of your time. Please, just 10 minutes. The plaque presentation would happen, and then we'll have the former NBA president who is in our midst come give us goodwill message in 2 minutes, as well as the other learned silks in the room. And we will, lunch is packed, actually breakfast and lunch is packed. And then we'll have the closing remarks, and we will leave immediately. We understand we need to go and pray, but just give us another 10 minutes and we'll wrap this up. Thank you very much.
Okay, our first speaker is Mr. Dafe Akbene from NERC. Our second speaker is Professor Ayodele Morocco Clark, Professor of Law from Nile University of Nigeria. Please, a round of applause for the speakers. Our third speaker is Engineer Yusuf Usman. Sorry. And then our moderator, Bello Aminu Abdullahi. And then me, the session coordinator.
So we'll have the group photographs with the speakers and the executive committee of the NBA-SBL Northern Zonal Committee, as well as a council member. So while that is going on, would like again to appreciate everyone that has been in the room since yesterday up until this moment. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for taking your time to come in. And I'd like to especially appreciate the members of the Central Planning Committee who have delivered excellently a world-class conference. I'd like to remind you that this evening, I hope the DJ will have the flyer up. The Honorable Attorney General of Kaduna State is hosting us to a cocktail. It's the Honorable Attorney General's cocktail, so I assure you that it will be worth your time. It's for 6 p.m. and it's taking place at the golf course. Thank you very much to this very stellar panel. And at this moment, I'd like to bring up the very distinguished, and I also hear the latest and the brand new Garukuan Kanu, and the senior member of the Kano Emirate Council, the very distinguished and learned Alhaji A.B. Mahmood, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, founding partner Diko and Mahmood. Is also the former Nigerian Bar Association President. Thank you very much. Is our foremost, one of the finest and the erudite mind Kano State, Nigeria has produced, and I dare say even Nigeria itself. We welcome you, the Leonard Silk, sir. Thank you very much for coming in and honoring us with your presence. We appreciate you truly, sir.
A very good morning, or afternoon, I'm sorry. Distinguished colleagues, I'm delighted to be given the opportunity to say a few words for this very pioneering effort of the SBL. I sat through the last session, listening to the exciting discussions, and I think this sort of engagement couldn't have come at better times. I think there's no gainsaying that the northern region is performing below its expectations. I believe with a population of over probably 55% of the national population, some studies show that we only contribute about 25 to 30% of the national GDP, 55% or more of the national population, 25% or 30% of the national GDP. That's just equivalent to the GDP of Lagos State alone. So what that tells us is that there's a lot of work to do in terms of engendering economic growth, economic development and prosperity in the north, and by implication across the country. When you add this sort of picture to some of the other dire issues, like out-of-school children, for instance, Nigeria is said to have approximately, some estimates put it up to 18 million out-of-school children. Majority of them are in this part of the country. So I think these sort of conversations about how can law engender economic growth are really very germane and very significant. So I'd like to congratulate the organizers for really. I came across a study a few years back which suggested, for instance, that if you took Kano alone in the 80s, a radius of 100 kilometers around Kano alone, and if that was a single economy, it would be the 6th largest economy in Africa. This was just as recently as in the 80s. Now, the figures are much more dire, and the region is being ravaged by poverty, insecurity, and this seems to be on the rise rather on the decline. So I want to commend the leadership of the bar, and especially the section of business law, for bringing these sort of conversations. There are two key elements, in my view, to addressing these challenges. First is building capacity among the lawyers and understanding what it takes to be an effective business lawyer. Much of our training had previously focused on preparing us for courtroom work. But courtroom work is just one aspect of lawyering. Having the skills to be able to service the kind of developmental needs, commercial needs, and other needs of our communities is just as key. The other of these capacity development, in my view, is sensitizing policy governance people to what it takes to promote economic growth. Much of our policy max performance, then it is no wonder that we'll be having the kind of challenges that we have. I think governors need to wake up. They need to rise up to the expectations of really running a modern state and grappling with the key issues of how do you build infrastructure, how do you build energy infrastructure, how do you open up markets. Well, you won't blame leaders because that has been over-centralized in the past. And some of those competencies were only found at national level. So I think it's about time that organizations like ours, the bar and so on, begin to sensitize policy people and begin to sensitize our colleagues on the need to develop competencies and to really begin to play a more critical role in the areas and the issues that are much more central and more germane to creating a better and more prosperous country and society. So congratulations to the SBL, and I look forward to, all of us look forward to reading some of the outcomes of these engagements, and we also look forward to more engaging sessions of this nature in the future. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Leonard Silk. I'm also aware that Are Nuren Ijimo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is in the room and is to give us, yes, thank you very much. For a split second, I was wondering. Okay, so to give us his remarks very briefly in 2 minutes, we have Are Nureni Jimo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Are Bamofin of Ibadan Land. He's also the principal partner of Nure Jimo and Co. A round of applause for the Leonard Silk, please.
Good afternoon. Our Garkuan Kano, fresh one, newly minted. The Honorable Attorney General, senior advocates, professors, and colleagues. When I'm asked to speak after my master, the only thing I should say is I adopt every statement as my own statement. I have nothing useful to add. I want to thank you for this beautiful conference. It's sincerely well organized. This is an opportunity for us to listen to